I don't even know, man. I don't. I could sit here for 45 seconds and tell you the show sucks and then close the video. There's your SmackDown review. But I know you guys don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want this show in its current state. But I gotta tell you something, man. I don't understand why the company does half the shit that it does. I really don't. It's like they are just putting on bullshit for the sake of putting on bullshit just to get by. And hopefully, when things get back to normal, then, and I don't even know if they will do that, then they'll get back to doing things the way that they should. I don't even want to give them that much credit. But I want to tell you something, man. I hate being right. I do. Because most of the time when I sit here and I give you guys the podcast, or I give you guys the news, or I go over an opinion that I have on a certain topic or a certain feud or a certain upcoming feud or a certain creative direction in which they need to go in, more than likely, I know what I'm talking about, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but when it happens, and when I am right, it makes everything that much worse, because it's almost as if when I say something, it's negative. It's right, but it's negative because it's the wrong thing that WWE is going to go out there and do. And more times than not, they do what is wrong on television anyway. Case in point. Braun Strowman beats Bill Goldberg. Oldberg. Stay at home, Berg. Stay in the garage and change the oil on the 68 Mustang, Berg. Stay at home, bro. Stay at home. Never come back. They had Strowman beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. Dominating fashion. One of the worst matches in the history. One of the worst matches that WrestleMania will ever see. If you even want to call it WrestleMania at this point for 2020. He wins the Universal Championship. He was a Plan B. In my eyes, he was a Plan F for failure. That's a whole nother fucking story. There was a report that Jeff Hardy was supposed to be the chosen one for Goldberg. Do I believe that story? I don't know. But if you're throwing it out there, if Meltzer and this one and that one and Wrestle Geeks are reporting it exclusively, then it must be true. They must be getting their information from somebody. If they're putting on their website or someone's picking it up as an exclusive, right? If Jeff Hardy was really their Plan B, I understand why they didn't go with Jeff Hardy. Now, we talked about this on the podcast today for Friday, episode 321. Go and check it out. It went up around 3:30. It's live on the channel right now. 2.5 hours of audio greatness from yours truly. If Jeff Hardy was the Plan B, I understand why WWE didn't go with Jeff Hardy for obvious reasons. I don't need to reiterate them here. But they went with Braun Strowman instead. So tonight, in the main event, we got Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Imagine being WWE creative and being so shitty at your job, so lazy. Imagine being Shinsuke Nakamura and being treated like an afterthought as a sacrificial lamb. Imagine that being the first match for Strowman right out of WrestleMania. You rehashing a feud nobody wanted to see him in back in January and in February. And then he was off TV, and then he got a title shot, and now he's on TV feuding with the same guy that he was feuding with in January. Imagine that. That's what I call creative, folks. That's WWE creative. Wrestles Nakamura tonight. Power slam, 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman just gets by another fucking god-awful effort in the ring. Guy can't wrestle for shit. He's got a new t-shirt, though. He's got a new t-shirt with a freight train on it. And it's got his face right in the center of the fucking oncoming train. Whee! Whee! Yeah? He runs fast. Now he's a fucking freight train. He's in the main event, buries Nakamura. Bray Wyatt comes on the screen. Firefly Funhouse, blah, blah, blah. We have a Universal Championship match for Money in the Bank, all but confirmed. And I sit here, and I knew when they gave him the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. Unfortunately, I knew this is where they were going. Now, yes, the simple-minded buffoon could say, well, you know what? They had no other choice. Of course they had no other choice. Who the fuck else is there on this brand to feud with a baby face champion? You got Bray Wyatt, and you got Nakamura, and you got Baron Corbin. I think I'd take Bray Wyatt over Nakamura and Baron Corbin. So right then and there, they had no choice. But that's their fault. This is what they envision for SmackDown. This is my buddy Bruce. What's up, Bruce? Huh? How do you like being the executive director of SmackDown with a roster this fucking bad? This is all SmackDown's fault. This is all WWE management's fault. They have refused to build up any top fucking contenders on this brand for the world title. So when you come to a situation like this and you're left with basically nobody, whose fault is that? Oh, but they had no choice. They certainly did. How about you fucking go back to the drawing board and start treating your talents legitimately? How about that? Or is that too difficult to grasp? So yes, they had nobody. They had no other choice. But for everybody that wants to challenge me because I am the fucking Messiah, for everybody that wants to challenge me because I'm outspoken or I don't know what I'm talking about or I'm a loud-mouthed idiot who does nothing but rant for the sake of ranting and I'm negative for the sake of negative, Braun Strowman beat Goldberg, right, as a plan B for the Universal Championship. Bray Wyatt was buried by Goldberg in February at Super Showdown. Now, if you don't think that they booked Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman into a creative corner, if WWE, you do not think that WWE's booked themselves into a creative corner, I mean, I don't know how to lay this out for you in the simplest terms. I'm going to try my best right here. If Braun Strowman goes one-on-one with Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship and loses, then he is a transitional champion. He is a transitional champion. And everything that you did with Goldberg and Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, and everything that you did with Goldberg before that, because it will bleed into what happened with Bray Wyatt, and it will just tarnish everything. If Braun Strowman loses, not only is he a transitional champion, but it makes everything you did with Goldberg meaningless. Now, if Bray Wyatt wins the fucking championship, then you're pretty much proving to everybody that whatever happened with Goldberg never should have happened, because you're giving the title right back to him. And if Bray Wyatt wins, Braun Strowman, and I'm going to use this term, buried, but I'm going to add a more stronger word in front of it just to give it a little bit more meaning and a little bit more emphasis. If Bray Wyatt wins the Universal Championship and Braun Strowman is a transitional champion, he will eternally be buried. And here you are, you put him in that position at WrestleMania against Goldberg because you want people to take him seriously. But right in the beginning of this feud, you're okay with him being a transitional champion? And I go back to what I talked about on Off the Script. If Jeff Hardy was the true plan B and you opted to go with Braun Strowman, why didn't you go with Jeff Hardy to beat Bill Goldberg, as it would open up more opportunity for Jeff to legitimately have more contenders for the championship instead of you pigeonholing yourself with Strowman as champion against Bray Wyatt, where you're legitimately booking yourself into a fucking corner? I don't get it. If Strowman loses, he is a transitional champion and eternally buried. And everything you did with Goldberg will be a fucking waste. It will be meaningless. If Bray Wyatt wins, everything that you did with him is going to be even more emphasized because you're giving the title right back to him. Honestly. And Bray Wyatt, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it because it certainly is a possibility. In this case, I don't see how it could be. If Bray loses, he's dead. And he's already on fucking life support as it is. This does not make any sense. You can sugarcoat it in a nice story and wrap it up in a big box. Right? Bray Wyatt brought Braun Strowman to the main roster. He took him from the swamp. He gave him the Wyatt family. He made him a part of the family. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they want you to think. But in the end, the match itself will just kind of deteriorate into all of these other negatives. And those are the things that you're not going to be hearing from everybody else. Those are the things that nobody's really going to bring to your attention. This is what I don't understand about this particular situation. On top of that, which is the most fucking obvious, the match will suck. The match will suck. This is what happens when you give the title to somebody that is not a good pro wrestler. I am tired of world titles being given to guys like this that do not make the title better. I'm over it. I want the title on somebody in which they are going to make the title better, and vice versa. That's when you know you got a legitimate title reign. Enough of these fucking games. Enough of these games. Either Strowman's going to be a transitional champion and eternally buried, or Bray Wyatt is going to lose and be forever buried eternally as well. I don't get why people don't think. I don't know why they don't discuss and dive into the real root of the problem. And that's what I see coming out of SmackDown. I don't get it. Let me know what you guys think about that, but that was the way SmackDown went off the air. Not happy with it. I'm not happy with it at all. I expected it. But man, oh man, if this is what we're getting, I would rather Jeff Hardy be the Universal Champion if that exclusive that came from WrestleGeeks, if that exclusive was actually legit. And I know a lot of people read that story. I know a lot of people commented when I talked about that story on Off the Script. It would just open everything up for a little different, to be a little different. And why is Bray Wyatt getting a title shot anyway? Why? We can dive into that fucking topic as well. Oh, he beat John Cena. He didn't legitimately beat John Cena. It wasn't a match. Whatever we watched at WrestleMania wasn't a match. There was no WWE authority there to count the 1, 2, 3. There was no WWE official. Why is he getting a title match? What has he done? He's done nothing. Sasha Banks earlier in the evening wanted to talk about a pecking order. Get in the back of the line. There's these things called a line. Alexa Bliss even made mention of it when Carmella and Dana Brooke Dana Brooke asking for title shots. Oh my God, man. Jesus Christ. We'll get to that part of the show, but even Alexa Bliss said there's something called a line. You got to get in the back of it. In that division, I don't know what fucking line she's talking about, but these lines exist. for some people and they don't exist for others, which I don't understand. So why is Bray Wyatt getting a title shot? Oh, that's right, for the simpleton. They got nobody else. Let me revert back to, that's not my fucking problem. That's WWE's problem. You refuse to build up talent. You refuse to fucking build new stars. You refuse to keep SmackDown in the current state that it's in. This is what you get. It's not my fucking problem. I'm giving you the obvious and the reality of the situation. Don't come at me with, this is all they got. This makes sense. This is all they got right now. Then don't make Strowman the fucking champion. Then don't make Strowman the fucking champion. How about we go with a plan B or a plan C or a plan D? Why does it got to be Braun Strowman? Could have been Keith Lee. Could have been Matt Riddle. Could have been Jeff Hardy. The latest rumor with Jeff Hardy. No, but they went with Braun Strowman because that's all they got. That's all they got. I can't wait to see everybody's fucking face when Braun Strowman is a transitional champion, making everything that happened with Goldberg absolutely fucking meaningless. And if the off chance of Bray Wyatt here in this match, and he does lose, which I pray to God is not the case. If Bray Wyatt loses, I never want to see Bray Wyatt on TV ever again. Ever again. They cannot win in this situation. Either one of these guys is going to be buried. Either one of these guys. It's going to be one or the other. They're not coming out of this any better. They're not coming out of this at all. It's going to be one or the other. Dead. This is SmackDown. We're going to talk about the rest of the show. Quickly, guys, follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you missed Off the Scripts earlier this afternoon, links are down below for every video that you might have missed, including today's Off the Script episode 321. 2.5 hours of audio greatness. Go and check it out. Thank you guys for showing up to the Twitch stream today of Resident Evil 3. Awesome stuff there. We had over 140 viewers on Twitch. We're building a nice little community over there. And if you guys enjoy my video game content and you want to see me play some Resident Evil 3 Remake, just came out a couple of weeks ago, make sure you guys go and last week actually, go and check it out. And it'll be right there for you. I should be live tomorrow night as well. I'll send you guys some notifications on Twitter. But thank you to everybody that showed up there. The video on demand, if you guys want to go back and watch it, is in the archives on my Twitch channel. Patreon is always open if you guys want to show some extra appreciation. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. And today, the podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. What we got lined up today, we got the Tag Team Championships in the women's division, unfortunately on the line again, with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending against the Kabuki Warriors. Why? That is a great question. I don't have the answer for you. I thought this shit was antiquated. I really did. So we got that lined up. We got a new tag team debuting on SmackDown from NXT that will soon be forgotten. Yes, just let that sink in. You know who I'm talking about. And then obviously the continuation of Mandy and Otis with Dolph and Sonya. So we'll talk about that as well. And surprisingly, WWE did something that they didn't do last year, but maybe somebody in the company heard my cries from last year and said, you know what? This year we're going to give JD what he wants as far as Money in the Bank. And yes, Money in the Bank is confirmed to be taking place. So we'll go over what they did on SmackDown tonight. One less thing that I have to shit on. And then Sasha and Bayley, obviously the continuation of their soon-to-be deterioration. So we'll go over that as well. Show started with Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Michael Cole was not by himself tonight, which was actually a very good thing. I legitimately missed Corey Graves. Graves, I give you a hard time, bro, but I'm glad you were there. Having Corey Graves there next to Michael Cole and hearing his voice somehow, to me, brought a sense of normalcy to the show. Because when Michael Cole, enough of this fucking music. Michael Cole by himself is terrible. So with him having Corey Graves there, it legitimately did give the show a sense of normalcy. Like I said, it brought the show back to being a little bit normal than usual. So it also, instead of just the fucking dead silence that you see, because Michael Cole can't constantly talk all the time when he's calling a match, it's very difficult to do a solo effort, which I give him mega props for, but he sucks by himself. So when he's not saying anything, you hear the sound, the emptiness of the fucking performance center. And with him sitting next to Corey, Corey's filling that dead air. So I enjoyed it. I'm glad he's back. Braun Strowman made his way to the ring, opened the show. He had the Universal Championship around his waist, undeservedly so. They aired a brief video package on his win over Goldberg. They might as well have shown the whole fucking match. It was only about 2 minutes. He stood middle of the ring and said he took everything Goldberg gave him and refused to stay down, then put him down for good. He said it's the greatest moment of his career. Suddenly, Shinsuke Nakamura's music hit. He interrupted Braun Strowman. Graves said Nakamura was the man Strowman had to defeat to become Intercontinental Champion several months back. So Nakamura entered the ring and said, "This should be funny. What do you want?" says Strowman. Nakamura said Braun said, "When opportunity knocks, open the door." "Knock, knock," said Shinsuke. Braun said nothing. Nakamura then said, "You're supposed to say who's there." This is the gist of WWE creative, folks. They're going the Andrew Dice Clay nursery rhyme route. Hickory dickory dock, your girl was sucking my cock. The clock struck 12, I dropped my goo. Whatever the fuck he's talking about, you know? Little Bo Peep and her sheep, 3 blind mice. Where the fuck are they going, You know the deal. I got fucking nursery rhymes taking place on SmackDown. Knock, 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 knock jokes. Who's there? Let's see if we can come up with our own joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Strowman. Strowman who? Oh, the loser who shouldn't be Universal Champion. The guy who's, wee, I got a new t-shirt. Knock, knock, I got a new t-shirt. Anyway. Nakamura reheard Braun talk about his WrestleMania moment, but the last time they saw him, "We beat you." Braun told him to cut the crap because nobody tuned into SmackDown to hear him run his mouth. He asked him to let him enjoy his first SmackDown as Universal Champion while he knocks the crap out of him. Nakamura spoke back to him in Japanese. Nobody understood what he was trying to say. Then he translated it in English, I guess. "The weak are the meat and the strong eat." More nursery rhymes by Nakamura. Great. Strowman said later tonight he's going to get these hands, and that's the only nursery rhyme that Strowman knows, get these hands, or the only joke that Nakamura is going to be getting at the end of the night. So Cesaro entered the ring from behind. Braun shoved him over the top rope. Nakamura then blindsided Braun Strowman. He kicked him in the head. Nakamura and Cesaro retreated, and Michael Cole described it as a hit and run on Braun Strowman. This is the gist of WWE creative, folks. They are rehashing a feud right out of the gates. This does not bode well for Braun Strowman's title reign. Clearly, they have no plans. Clearly, it is shown to everybody that WWE had no fucking plan for Braun Strowman, and this is their thought process. This is what they did. I would be shocked. Actually, I would not be shocked to learn that this show was actually pieced together and written the day of the recording, because this show was clearly taped at the Performance Center earlier in the week. This is the gist of WWE creative. So we move on from that, and we go right into a Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss title match against the Kabuki Warriors. So we got the women's tag team title match happening, a rematch from WrestleMania. I asked myself why this is happening. What happened to the antiquated rematch rule not being a thing? Apparently, they forgot what Shane McMahon had instituted all those months ago, and it is no longer a thing. Why the Kabuki Warriors are getting a rematch, I don't know. They lost clean. They lost clean at WrestleMania. So this match went 13 minutes, and you know my famous saying, it went 13 minutes too long. Should have never even happened. This match was terrible. I feel so bad for Asuka and Kairi Sane being in the ring with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Just by association, Nikki Cross is fucking terrible. She's mixing it up with Alexa Bliss, and by association, she is now just as bad as Alexa Bliss. I love Nikki Cross in NXT. Don't know where that version of Nikki Cross is. Dead. Just like half of this fucking roster. This match sucked. I feel so bad for Asuka and Kairi Sane being in the ring with these two fucking buffoons. And you know that they did not put the championships on Alexa Bliss to have Alexa Bliss drop them the very next week after WrestleMania. I hope to God that Kairi Sane leaves this godforsaken dump known as SmackDown, and her contract expires, and she sails away back to Japan and goes right back to Stardom. I swear to God. These women do not deserve any of this whatsoever. And Asuka was on the commentary table doing her fucking thing, or whatever the fuck she was doing, you know? Whatever she was doing on the commentary table, she took Michael Cole's commentary headset, started speaking Japanese. The best part of the match was Corey Graves kind of burying Michael Cole by saying, "Hey, Cole, she's better than you on commentary." I got a laugh out of that. And that was pretty much my analysis of this godforsaken fucking women's match. Bliss and Cross win. Everything that Alexa Bliss does is fucking weak. It doesn't look impactful. Nikki Cross is getting into that phase where she's just comfortable with barely getting by. Why do these titles even exist? Why? If you could come up with one good reason why these titles exist, I'll pin your fucking comment down in the comments at the very top. Guarantee you there's not one fucking legitimate comment as to why these titles should exist on WWE TV. The best friends, or the WWE version of the best friends, win in this match and retain their tag team titles. How? Bliss tagged in, and Nikki hit a twisting neck breaker. Or Bliss tagged Nikki in, and she hit a twisting neck breaker. And that was it. That was it. Awesome. Moving on from here, we got Elias standing on the platform, the little eagle perch with his guitar. He thanked viewers for inviting him into their home. I didn't invite this guy into my fucking home, and I would never. I would never. He said he got the messages from fans to get well and thanks them. He told fans to clap along to his song. WrestleMania, everybody can say, because Elias came and he dethroned the king. If you doubted me, I couldn't blame you at all, because from this perch, Elias took a hell of a fall. Just like Simba, I returned. It's time for a new king. People yearned. I look forward to the horizon. What do I see? Money in the bank. The case would look good with me. Gonna stop right there before I continue the rest of this fucking snooze fest of a song that's not even gonna chart on the top 200. After that one line with the money in the bank, the case would look good with me. I look towards the horizon. What do I see? Money in the bank, the case would look good with me. So clearly, Elias and Baron Corbin, before we even get their qualifying matches in the weeks to come, are going to be in the fucking Money in the Bank ladder match. There you go. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Baron Corbin with the Money in the Bank ladder match briefcase again? Oh my God, folks. I got to see the field of men's participants in the Money in the Bank. I'm going with an early pick, and that's Baron Corbin. That is Baron Corbin. Or maybe better yet, what if we get Jinder Mahal, Elias, and Baron Corbin in the Money in the Bank? Because you know Jinder's ready to come back, right? I've been itching for a Jinder Mahal return. Just throwing that one out there for you guys too. Chew on that for a little bit. turn it into a guitar case, then I become champ, and the world will sing, Walk with Elias. Oh, I want to hear the world sing, Walk with Elias, walk with the king. Man, oh man, this was garbage as usual. They aired a recap of Mandy and Otis at WrestleMania. So we got Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville in the ring. They went up to Cole and Graves and leaned into them. They started yelling at Corey Graves and Michael Cole, just like the outbreak suggests. There's no social distancing. They were not social distancing here, folks. Spitting and fucking getting in Michael Cole and Corey Graves' face. Ziggler claimed that the hidden camera footage that we've seen from what people are saying is Mustafa Ali, we haven't seen him since. We didn't see any footage this week. But the hidden camera footage was doctored, and they are messing with their lives. Tucker then came to the ring. Tucker says he's sorry to interrupt Ziggler's meltdown, but he can tell he is still smitten with Otis's kitten, Mandy. Tucker then pointed at the big screen, and we seen pictures of Otis and Mandy working out. He said couples who work out together stay together. He told Ziggler they have some unfinished business to take care of right now. Because we got the match last week before WrestleMania on the Go Home show, and we're getting it again this week. Now, I guess it makes sense. I really can't shit on it for two reasons. One, it makes sense because last week's match was a blatant disqualification. And two, the more this continues with Otis and Mandy and Ziggler and Sonya, Tucker's kind of being left out. Tucker's almost the third wheel in this situation, so they need to keep him in the fans' eyes and in the fans' minds. So having another rematch with Dolph really didn't bother me all that much. And Tucker is very impressive. For someone who is part of a tag team, Otis, everybody loves Otis, but Tucker is the glue to heavy machinery. Otis is great. Otis is the charisma, and Tucker is the workhorse. So I think they're a great team, and I like when Tucker is in solo performances like that. We get to see him break out a little bit more, and we get to see how good he really is. So I didn't mind this at all. So Ziggler wins in 5 minutes. Tucker was doing very well here. Tucker hit a crossbody on Ziggler for a near fall. Ziggler avoided a charging Tucker who went shoulder first into the ring post, and then Ziggler caught him as he bounced off the turn post with a quick super kick for the win. And Graves said Ziggler is driven by true romance and is trying to win the heart of Mandy Rose back. So that's that. More than likely, this is leading to Dolph and Sonya versus Otis and Mandy, and I could absolutely see this continuing till Money in the Bank, and we get that match at Money in the Bank, and I think at that point, it should be a blow-off of this feud. I know you guys are quarantined at home and you're looking for things to do. You're watching me, and that's all I could ask for, man. Watch me, watch the channel. I'll keep you entertained all through this lockdown. Don't worry about it. The podcast is gonna take care of you. But if you guys are looking for something else outside the podcast, audio books are the way to go. And I'm here to give you guys a free trial of Audible and 30 days free of their service with one free audiobook of your choice. All you got to do is use our link, man, audibletrial.com/offthescript. I hear Jim Ross has a new book, Under the Black Hat, which you guys can get for free using our link. I hear Mayor Glenn Jacobs has a new book, Mayor Kane, My Life in Wrestling and Politics. I hear Charlotte Flair has an audio book out as well. If you guys want to see how she's constructed as the android queen that she is, you guys can use our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. It's a great way to support the podcast. It's a great way to support me, and it's a great way to support my friends over at Audible. Once again, guys, 30 days free and one free audiobook of your choice using our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. And I want to thank them for always being here as a sponsor on Off the Script. Moving on here, man, we got the dirt sheet. The dirt sheet. Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey. No, no. Hey, hey. No, no. Awful. Is there anything more cringe than your tag team champions? I told you. This was coming from Morrison, man. He settled into being almost irrelevant. Quick. And if you think the tag team titles are relevant by any means, I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're watching. Jesus Christ. Oh, by the way, the Revival got their release today. Good on them. No 90-day clause. They could show up and be elite whenever they want. Now, they won't. They won't because of current circumstances, but we'll talk about that on Off the Script tomorrow. I got all the news regarding the Revival. Dash and Dawson, done with the WWE. Little golf clap for that. Finally, it fucking happened. Finally. Happy for those guys. So we got the dirt sheet. WWE showing you exactly that. Tag team wrestling is dead on Friday nights. Miz and Morrison sat middle of the ring. Morrison introduced himself and said his glass is always half full. Even when it's all the way full, it's half full. Miz said in a brutal ladder match, they retained the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Morrison laughed and said, I retain them. He said he's the first person in history to retain those titles himself. Miz said he's the first wrestler to retain those titles from his couch. That's good news. Now, I know they meant that in a joking way, but do you see how irrelevant the tag team titles are when they throw that out there and mock you with that line, trying to be funny, but it's like mocking you in plain sight, mocking the titles in plain sight. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. The tag team titles should never be in a situation like they are in and have been on Raw and SmackDown. That's just me. I love tag team wrestling, and I wish tag team wrestling was better. So, he said he's the first person to retain those titles on his couch. That's good news. They were here to give good news, folks. SmackDown and good news in the same sentence? Where? How? Why? When? What, are you kidding me? So, Miz touted WrestleMania 36 as the most watched in history. False. That is false information. That's not good news. That's fake news. Then WWE touted that WrestleMania 36 was the most socially interactive WrestleMania on social media. They need a fucking number to boast and brag about on their TV shows because not many people watch this WrestleMania. And Miz is here out there saying it was the most watched WrestleMania in history. Negative. Fake news. They looked at the big screen and we seen a clip of The Undertaker kicking AJ Styles into a grave. Miz says, better AJ than us. Miz said they have a new Universal Champion. Now, that makes it to almost all of their shows. Morrison says that's much more frequently than some of their other champions lately. That's good news. Then they talked about the Firefly Funhouse. Morrison said, after all those years, John Cena saying, you can't see me, finally came true. Then they sang their song, Hey Hey, with some really expanded lyrics. So this was awful. And I was getting text by my buddy Jesse saying that these are the most cringe athletes in the WWE. And I would have to agree with him. I find this to be painfully unfunny. Then the Usos came out, thankfully, and stopped this nonsense. They said Pee Wee Herman has more street cred than either of them. Miz asked how dare they interrupted their live performance. Morrison said they brought with them negative downer energy, whereas they're spreading good news. Miz asked why they were there after Morrison successfully defended the tag team titles. Usos said they have to defend both titles. So Miz and Morrison have to defend both titles. Miz says he's still not medically cleared and can't compete tonight because they injured him. They injured him. So I don't know when they mentioned Miz being injured, but the report that I read from The Observer and the report that I read from everywhere else said that The Miz was ill and that The Miz was sent home. Now, I didn't expect WWE to say that, so here they are hiding the truth by some fake bullshit and giving you a fake reason as to why The Miz could not make WrestleMania. So that's why we got the triple threat match the way that it ended up at WrestleMania, and now The Miz is saying that he was hurt and still medically uncleared and can't compete. As Miz and Morrison left the ring, the New Day came out. Kofi was thrusting down the aisleway. Very bizarre. Kofi told them to hold up because they were in a triple threat match too. Big E said since the match didn't go on as planned, it makes sense that the members of both teams didn't compete at WrestleMania. The others should be able to compete. Miz asks why they don't understand, or what they don't understand about not medically cleared. Kofi says that they consulted WWE and Fox officials along with a series of unreleased celebrities, and they have been informed next week that it will be Miz, Big E, and Jey Uso for the Tag Team Championships. So, I will say this. This is all I will say on this. I hate the fact that we're getting the Tag Team Championships defended in a singles competition fashion. I hate it. But based off what we've seen, and based off of what had happened at WrestleMania, I'm going to go out there and say this is legitimately the only thing that makes sense. Because if they really want to make a storyline out of it, I guess they could do that. Because Morrison, right, he is one man, and The Miz is getting away scot-free here. So I understand where they're coming from as, you know, we want The Miz to hold up his end of the deal as well here and defend his tag team championships, just like his partner did. His partner was successful. Now let's see if The Miz can do that. Obviously, our guys did not get the job done. But The Miz, as tag team champions, you're not going to really hide behind your partner here. And John Morrison, we want you to do what he did. So we're going to throw you Big E, and we're going to throw you Jey Uso. So now you got to defend the titles just like Morrison did against the two other guys of these two other respective teams. So I get it. I really do. I just don't want to see this be a new thing that WWE does. Oh yeah, we're going to defend the tag team titles in a singles fashion with one half of said tag team against one half of said tag team champions. I hope this is the only time we see that. So it did make sense, but I also don't like it because I don't want to see it become a regular thing on WWE TV. That's all I will say. Speaking of tag teams, the Forgotten Sons. The Forgotten Sons. Yes, NXT's Forgotten Sons. Steve Cutler, Wesley Blake, and Riker from NXT. They are now demoted to SmackDown. They went against the Lucha House Party, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado. I am giving these guys 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Now, I don't want to be sitting here saying that. I don't want to sit here and automatically write them off. I don't want to sit here and tell you that they will be forgotten, but they won't be forgotten in catering. Titus is going to take very good care of them. But everybody else that got called up from NXT, that is a tag team. I mean, look at the track record. There was something on Twitter that was tweeted to me, if I can find it. This is coming from MPounder66. He's following me on Twitter. And this was a great tweet. He added me in this, and I had to like it. And this makes even more sense now that we see the Forgotten Sons on the main roster. NXT tag teams that went to the main roster and are either gone from WWE or not together anymore. Look at all the tag teams that the main roster has ruined. The Revival, the Vaudevillains, Enzo and Cass, the Ascension, American Alpha, the Lucha Dragons, which were Kalisto and Sin Cara in NXT. And then he even mentioned this one, which I completely forgot about. The first NXT Tag Team Champions, the British Ambition of Neville and Oliver Gray, never even made the main roster as a team. Unbelievable. You can add the War Raiders to that list. You could probably end up adding AOP to that list. It's disgusting. Sanity? You forgot Sanity, bro. Sanity dead after 4 weeks? And you want me to sit here and be faithful? Or you want me to have faith and hope in the Forgotten Sons not being forgotten on the main roster? Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. They're going to wish they were forgotten once Vince McMahon gets a fucking hand on them. Give me a fucking break. Unbelievable how people are excited about the Forgotten Sons making the main roster. And I don't want to be here negative about this. because I love tag team wrestling. I love tag team wrestling. But if you are excited about this, man, you have not learned your fucking lesson. You have not learned your lesson at all. These guys are great. They are a very good tag team. I could envision them teaming and having great matches with the New Day and the Usos. But outside that, you're putting them in a division with three teams that WWE will not bend over and do any harm to. They will always look for those three teams. Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, they are doomed to fail on the main roster. The only one that has any type of fucking hope in this trio is Jackson Ryker, because he looks exactly how Vince McMahon wants a pro wrestler to look. But if you're sitting there wondering, oh man, the Forgotten Sons are going to be a great team on the main roster, I can't see how anybody's excited about that. I mean, God almighty, man, this was the day that we were fucking just talking about not too long ago, and here we are. It's happening right before our very eyes. I can't get excited about this. And I hate the fact that I got to be so fucking negative, but in the negative, there is a reality in the situation. The Forgotten Sons win in 2 minutes. We got their finishing move. Blake clotheslined Metalik, and we got Cutler coming off the top rope on Metalik's chest with a big stomp off the top rope. Forgotten Sons win in 2 minutes. Again, they even fucked up their debut. How did they fuck up their debut, JD? They won against the Lucha House Party. There was no vignette. There was no inside scoop as to who these guys are. No inside scoop as to who Cutler and Blake and Riker are. Nobody knows who they are, where they came from, what they're about, what their gimmick's about, how they speak, how they act. Nobody knows anything. Oh yeah, the Forgotten Sons are now on the main roster. They're making their debut on SmackDown on Fox. Coming up next against the Lucha House Party. These are tape shows. Was it so difficult to fucking put in a 45-second vignette telling us who these guys are? Giving us a fucking video package that I know exists down in NXT and putting it in the fucking show? Yet I'm the one fucking complaining for the sake of complaining. This is how they handle their talent. This is how they handle their talent. I know for a fact Triple H has fucking footage of these guys outside somewhere at a remote location cutting a promo saying everybody or saying to everybody that they don't want to be forgotten. It's that whole fucking gimmick. And here you are already on the track, the fast track, to them being forgotten because you couldn't put a little fucking elbow grease into this shit and put a fucking vignette into an obviously taped, pre-recorded show. Does WWE have any value in the fucking Forgotten Sons? Do they have any hope? Do they have any plans for the Forgotten Sons? Are they going to be on a list of priorities after WrestleMania? Clearly not. Clearly not. That type of shit irks me more than anything else. They win in 2 minutes. I give them 4 weeks, and they'll be forgotten. Nikki Cross was backstage, and she was excited, and she told Alexa Bliss that she was feeling unbeatable right now. Carmella and Dana walked up. Carmella said they didn't get a chance to compete at WrestleMania, so they'd like to make up for it with a tag team title match. Bliss said she feels bad for them, but they just can't jump the line because there is a line that they need to get into to challenge the tag team champions because, obviously, you know, there's a line in the tag team division, right? You got to get in line, she says. If you guys can find the fucking line that exists in this tag team division, I would love for you to tell me where it is, who's in it, and why I should care. We got Asuka and Kairi Sane losing twice in the same week to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Clearly, they're not in the line anymore. What other teams are on the brand that are a tag team that are in line? What other teams are on the brand or in the WWE that exist that could be in this line that somehow exists by Alexa Bliss? Dana Brooke and Carmella, folks. If you are resorting to Dana Brooke and Carmella being a tag team on WWE television, then all hope is forever lost with these tag team championships, and my offer still exists. It's down below. If you can tell me one legit fucking reason why these titles exist, I will pin your fucking comment at the very top of the comment section. That's the going game for the fucking video today. That's the going game for the podcast today on Friday. I don't know. So Nikki Cross was talking with Alexa Bliss. She said, yes, they can do it. And then Nikki said, girl, I love you, but decaf from now on. Yeah, honey, listen, I'll take mine, caffeinated, cream and sugar. 2 sugars, please, with cream. Thank you. Sasha Banks made her way to the ring. One of the best parts of the show is Miss Banks. Banks is there and Bayley is there. Look at us, she said. She said Paige tried to ruin their friendship by putting them in a match against each other. It didn't work. Neither does SmackDown Creative. It also doesn't work. Bayley said she defied all odds at WrestleMania because I am the best. And then she added, we are the best. We are the ultimate role models. She told the sheep sitting at home who thought she'd lose the title to and their friendship would be ruined. And they have 2 words for them. Screw you. Sasha said nobody from the past, present, or future can ruin their friendship. And then out comes Tamina. Sasha said nobody from the past, present, and future can ruin their friendship. And out comes Tamina. Well, Tamina ruined something, Sasha. She ruined my fucking appetite by walking out on SmackDown tonight. She ruined my day just by visibly showing face on SmackDown. So she does have the power to ruin my mood, but she may not be able to ruin your friendship. But she does ruin my mood, and I'm sure the mood of several others. Sasha said she looks stunned. She said she looks good, and I can smell you from here. You smell great. Tamina said Bayley didn't beat her at WrestleMania. Nobody beat me at Mania. She explained it took all of the women to beat her. She challenged Bayley to a one-on-one match for the title. Sasha said she can go back to whatever coconut shell she was hiding in this entire year. You know, you come back and you're asking for a fucking title shot. There's a pecking order around here. You just don't step up to the champ and make demands, she said. Bayley said she can have her match with her if she can beat the icon, my best friend, the boss, the greatest of all time, Sasha Banks. So Sasha didn't seem to know what Bayley was doing or why she said what she said. Tamina said, I accept your bestie just screwed you. No, Bruce screwed us, Tamina, because he put you in a fucking match with Sasha Banks in which I hope you don't botch. Seriously. You almost killed Sasha last time you were in the ring with her. Have it happen, not again, please. Anyway, we got this, and minus Tamina, which is a non-factor to me. I don't even know why she's on fucking TV. She must have a fucking apartment above the Performance Center, because we've seen her more than we've seen her in fucking 3 years in the last 3 weeks. Tell her to go back to the fucking coconut in which she came from, please. Legitimately. This was simple. It was effective. I liked it. This was Bayley and Sasha continuing their deterioration slowly but surely. You know that they are aiming for that feud and that match. Now, after what we've seen at WrestleMania, Sasha didn't really see Bayley just sit around not helping her in that 5-woman match at WrestleMania. She got knocked out by Loser Evans and a Loser's Right. So she didn't see Bayley just sit there and not help her with the pinfall. And here she is, and Bayley is offering up Sasha without really consulting with Sasha at all. Without really going over with this, with Sasha. It's almost as if Bayley is taking advantage of Sasha and doing it and thinking that Sasha's going to be okay with it because of their friendship being so strong. And Sasha is there asking herself and probably wondering, why is she trying to use me to better her championship and protect her championship? Meanwhile, I got to be doing all the work. She's going to beat Tamina. She's going to beat Tamina, and she's going to move on to somebody else. There's no doubt in my mind that Tamina is going to lose that match. There's no way you're going to give a title shot to Tamina fucking Snuka on SmackDown. The right storyline would be for Sasha to beat Tamina because it's aiding Bayley, which aids the story in Sasha doing all the work to protect Bayley. And at some point, she's going to get fed up with it. I think that's great. It's simple. It's effective. And Bayley is taking Sasha for granted. At some point, Sasha's going to snap. And Bayley is, honestly, I wasn't a fan of Bayley's heel work. It seems to me that with this WrestleMania match and this feud, she's finally starting to come into her own. So this storyline with Bayley is actually working out for Bayley, and it's making Bayley a better heel slowly but surely. She seems a little bit more comfortable in that heel role. So I'm loving this. I think this is great, and I'm going to keep a very close eye on this storyline because this is the one match in the women's division that I do think they need to do because there really isn't anything else, and these are the top two women on SmackDown. It would be silly of them not to go back and revisit Bayley and Sasha Banks. My only gripe would be I think Sasha is better as a heel. And if she's going to feud with Bayley, from what I see, it looks like Bayley's going to be heel and Sasha's going to go back to being a babyface. So we'll see what happens, but I'm enjoying what they are doing, and this segment was simple yet effective. Sheamus versus Cal Bloom. Don't know who this guy is. Never seen him before in my entire life. Bro kick, 1 minute. Sheamus destroyed this fucking clown. Sheamus did the barrage of forearms, the 10 forearms, where he's got his opponent draped over the rope, standing on the apron, in an empty arena. In an empty arena, man. That sounds fucking brutal. You couldn't pay me to take those shots by Sheamus. You thought it was bad in a live atmosphere with a full crowd. Listen to it in an empty performance center. This guy's chest was caved in. Cal Bloom. 1 minute, and that was it. So we got Jeff Hardy. Special look at Jeff Hardy. Graphics head footage courtesy of WWE 24. Clips aired of Christian and Big Show talking about how they clicked with younger wrestling fans. Hardy said they had something special about them, and it paid off, meaning the Hardy Boys. As they showed Hardy leaping off of high places, Edge talked about one of his big, bold moves. Hardy says, if you're not scared, something is wrong. So they're obviously building Jeff up to be a big deal on SmackDown, which is no surprise because they need big guys on this brand. And this is the start of another chapter in the legacy of Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. So that's that. We got a 25th anniversary celebration of Triple H on SmackDown in 2 weeks. They need to get people to watch this show, so I'm not surprised by that and why they are pushing that for SmackDown in 2 weeks on Fox. Braun Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura. Strowman beats Nakamura with a power slam. The match wasn't good. I'm not going over it move by move. It's not a fucking mat classic. Strowman wins with a power slam, and he gets his first victory as Universal Champion. This was a non-title affair, and Nakamura was nothing more than a sacrificial lamb for what happened after the match. Firefly Funhouse then hit the big screen. There was a dry erase board in the back, and Bray Wyatt said it was the story of John Cena. Bray wiped out story and replaced history, the history of John Cena. Then he winked into the camera, said John was right all along. We really can't see you. Bray then directed his comments to Braun. He said he's so happy for him. The lantern, spoke to Bray. Bray said it was long ago, and he's sure he's learned his lesson by now. Bray said he brought Braun out of the swamp, and he turned his back on his family and his own creator. The dolls then obviously were throwing some shots at Braun Strowman, including saying his beard is possessed. Rambling Rabbit said he thinks Braun is a good guy. Bray told the stupid rabbit to shut up. Bray says he'll forgive Braun if he's sorry. If he says he's sorry. Make me proud, he said. Braun says he's not playing these games. Bray says he's been getting these hands instead of learning his lessons. Bray said Braun is going to learn about sharing because he has something he wants back. Right there over your shoulder. Bray says, as one circle closes, another begins. Since I brought you into this world, I'll have to take you out. He then smiled and waved goodbye. Braun said, wait, before you go. And the jingle of the Firefly Funhouse stopped. Braun said anytime Bray wants, he's ready to let him in. Bray then leaned in and looked sinister, and Braun cheerfully said in a Bray Wyatt mannerism, "Bye, see you later." And then Braun Strowman's music played as it ended the show. It is obviously the only thing to do because they have nobody else. And that is the simpleton's way of explaining. Well, they got nobody else, but those people are the ones that will never give WWE flack for not building up new talent. It should not be the way it is right now. Strowman shouldn't be Universal Champion. We should not be doing matches because that's all we have. Do you know how fucking lame that sounds? Do you know how ridiculous and uncreative that sounds? Do you know how lazy it sounds? How are you supposed to build for the future? How are you supposed to make this show better when Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt happens and your excuse is, well, that's all they have. That's all they could do. It's the only thing left for them to do. That's not my fucking problem. That's not my problem. I'm here to give you the reality of the situation. Yes, it might be the only thing to do, but that's a fucking cop-out. That's an easy way out. They booked themselves into a creative corner here. If Braun Strowman beats Bray Wyatt, then Bray Wyatt is dead. Forever dead. So he's going to be buried. It's a lose-lose situation. If he beats Bray, Bray is dead. If Bray beats Braun Strowman is a Universal Champion. He is forever buried. And everything you did with Goldberg, and it seeps back all the way to Bray Wyatt and Goldberg at Super Showdown. If Bray beats Braun, everything before that is going to be rendered meaningless. And what happens if Bray beats Braun and becomes the Universal Champion again? What happens then? Is Bray going to get a second chance with the championship to do what he needs to do and make it unlike his first chance? Or is he just simply getting the championship and you're going to give it to Roman anyway and we're going to be right back to square one with Bray Wyatt? So I don't understand why people are looking at this as some big deal. Oh, they got history. Either way you look at it, both of these guys are going to be transitional champions. Both of these guys are going to be transitional champions. And how the fuck does that benefit anybody? How does that benefit anybody? I would love for someone to explain that to me. Oh, but it's the only thing for them to do. Spare me the fucking terrible analysis. Should not be the way it is. There should be more. This should be better. The championship picture should look a little bit more just qualified for the situation. I don't get it. I really don't understand. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm getting out of here. I'm sure we'll discuss this more on Off the Script for Saturday. Another video is going up tomorrow, so make sure you guys are tuned in. After 5 p.m., it should be on the channel. If you missed Off the Script episode 321, part number 1, uploaded today. Link is down below. And everything else you might have missed, links are down below. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And Patreon, patreon.com/JDfromNY206. Guys, I'm getting out of here, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for more Off the Script. See you guys then.